Hello, cyberpunks. Welcome to episode number 6 of the Sprawl GM Prep episodes. This is the special secret super behind the scenes. Adam figures out what kind of mission the players are going to undertake times that goes along with the Sprawl. We are in our second mission for Arc 2. So, if you're not all caught up, if you haven't finished Operation Fine Print, there might be some spoilers. There will definitely be spoilers for future episodes, so if you want to experience the game like the players, you may want to mosey on back to Chiba. However, I appreciate your being here, because I need your help. I need your help, my dear friends. I have corporations. I have runners. I have people that I need to challenge. So we need to write some directives. We need to put together some clocks, and I need your help to do so. So thinking about, let me talk a little bit about one of my challenges as a GM for the Sprawl. Let me be real with you for a moment, my friends. So one of the challenges that I'm finding with running the Sprawl is that I get to decide the missions that the players undertake. Now, I know there isn't anything in the rules that says the players have to go on these missions. But when it comes down to it, if I do the prep and we show up to the session and they say, no, fuck this mission, we don't want to do this, we don't play. And so on the social level, there is this kind of weird, well, you have to take the mission because I said so, because I made it. Now, I don't think that that's the game's responsibility to fix necessarily, because I guess you could come up with a bunch of missions and let them pick one or the other. We've talked a little bit about this before. But what I do think is that it becomes the responsibility of the game master to create missions that the players would go on, because I need to think about things like our pusher's agenda. Vision. I need to think about the kinds of things the characters are motivated to do when I create these missions. And what got me thinking about this was that I wanted to do a mission, because we haven't really done any protection jobs, right? What I wanted to do was be like, cool, they're opening a Hasty Mart in your neighborhood, and you've been subcontracted to protect the opening of the Hasty Mart. Here is the job. Because then I think that it would create a lot of opportunity for, like, you know, it's funny, like Hasty Mart subcontracts to local gang to protect opening of Hasty Mart against other corporate. Like, I think it's a cute and kind of funny idea, but I don't want to put my players in a position to have to say that most baneful, horrific thing that you sometimes have to say as a player and be like, my character wouldn't do this. So that's the thing, right? Is that the players' characters, there are certain types of mission that they wouldn't do, and I have to guess which those would be. It's not like in Torchbearer, where I say, this is the dungeon, you are going into it, or Mouse Guard, where I say, this is the mission Gwendolyn hath given thee, go forth into the territories and doest it. This is the Sprawl. And it's not a thing that I really get to, I have to, as a player, the game does not support me in making good decisions around this. You know, I didn't see anywhere in the MC prep that says make a mission appropriate to the things your players want. And in a way, the game tells me the opposite, right? In a way, the game says make the mission because your players' directives ought to come in conflict with the mission. In a lot of ways, it's the inverse of, say, prepping for the Burning Wheel, where it's not my job to say, complete this thing despite your beliefs, but your beliefs will get in the way and make it more complicated. It's my job to say, here is a thing that your beliefs drive. The principles, because it's coming up, the principles and agenda of the MC in this game, it's a great question. Here's my job as the MC, and you can keep this in mind to help me move through the world. Now, I don't think, let me be clear, I don't think that this is a problem with the game. I think it's a problem that I think my players would have a problem, right? I'm not saying the characters should have a problem. I'm not saying the game is badly designed. I think that it's probably intentional. I think that Hamish understands design enough that if I just said, this is your job, the intention is that the characters are too desperate and too broke to say no. Right? That this is the job you are doing because there are no other jobs. Or you are not qualified for any other jobs. This is the job that you are doing. But I don't want, as a person, Adam, not the MC of this campaign, Adam doesn't want Blue Jay, Elf, Dave, and Andrew to have a bad time playing a mission in which their characters are forced to do things they don't want to do. Because I think the game is hard enough without them deciding, no, my character would not do this, I quit. Right? So I think that the game is correct for the situation, but that there is a missing piece there around the players being rewarded in the characters, not the players. You can't reward the character or the players with cred, but the characters being rewarded with cred, the characters being rewarded inversely with directive experience by following their own stuff, by complicating the mission, but also the real idea that failure and choosing to bail out of a mission part way it's just not, that's not how it goes. Sorry, excuse me. So let's talk about what I'm supposed to be doing. The rules for me, my agenda in play. My job is to make the Sprawl dirty, high-tech, and excessive. That's easy. That's just about describing excess, describing high-tech, describing grunginess, creating that cyberpunk void between poor and rich. Filling the characters' lives with action, intrigue, and complication. So I just give them action to perform, intrigue to deal with, right? Lies and secrets, and complication. Things are never as clear as they seem to be. Entangle characters in the Sprawl, right? Make them a part of their world. The things that they do in the world impact the world itself, and the world impacts them. And then play to find out what happens. That's my agenda. And to support my agenda, I have to say what the principles demand, which we'll get to. I have to do what mission prep demands. So, in a way, I have to follow the prep of the mission, right? I have to do what the game tells me to do to prep these missions. I have to say what honesty demands. Don't lie to your players. Don't say things in the game that are not true. In character, you can lie, but don't lie as the GM. And say what the rules demand. Don't just skip stuff or fudge the rules because you don't like them. My principles, the specific tools that I use to fulfill my agenda, is to chrome everything and then make it dirty, right? Show things being nice and then show them in a crappy state. Begin and end with the fiction. This is a fiction first game. We know how to do that. Address the characters, not the players. Don't ask, what do you do? Ask, Drez, what do you do? Not Dave, right? Ask questions, incorporate the answers. This is all basic Powered by the Apocalypse stuff. Name everyone, make everything corporate, make everything personal, complicate everything, treat your NPCs like disposable assets, think off screen, and be a fan of the characters. Now, the thing here, that be a fan of the characters, I think is part of it, giving them missions that will highlight the things that are interesting about them. But I also think like making everything corporate and making everything personal come into conflict with that, where I want sometimes to show them that they get the work that they get. I think maybe just focusing on being a fan of the characters, giving them missions that will show us interesting things about them. The point here isn't that I was so attached to a particular mission that I was like having some struggles about it, but just the idea that, you don't get, as a player of the Sprawl, to choose whether or not you go on a mission as the rules are written. You get rewarded by accepting the mission and your directives, but you don't get to say no. You can fail intentionally. You can bail out of a mission if you want to, but you don't get to say no at the beginning. Which is interesting, and I think we've talked about this before. You don't get to you get rewarded for taking the mission, so there's a carrot, but like it's a carrot that you don't have a choice but to eat, right? It's like eat the carrot or don't play the game. It's not eat the carrot or get the stick. It's just this is how it goes, which is sort of weird. It's like XP for showing up in a White Wolf game. But I also kind of get, I guess this is one of those things that makes sense, but I maybe disagree with from a design perspective. But that's just me and my design preferences. So anyway, today we are going to figure out a mission. We're going to figure out a mission that allows us to fulfill our principles and support our agenda. So what can we do to be a fan of these characters, right? What can we do to make that happen? So let's first start. Well, see, this is the thing, and this is what I was saying, and I think maybe Freckled Wonder 90, you missed this, but you get the option to say no as a player, to say no, my character wouldn't undertake that mission. But if you do, there's no game. You don't play. So that's a choice you can make, you know, a la war games. You know, the correct move might be not to play, but you've just decided either make a new character that would go along with this mission or sit it out, or everyone skips a session. Yeah. So anyway, let's do what the game demands. Let us follow our prep and talk about this mission. So let's look at the state of the world here. Because of the last mission, Hasty Mart actually got a bit of a lead on the characters. They understand some things about the characters now. There's a note in their file, right? They're not gunning for them, but they're like, wait, these are dangerous individuals. So we can keep that in mind, right? Like, Hasty Mart knows they exist. No one else really does. Hasty Mart knows they exist. And we also have the Combinat and Sun with like a little bit of noise, but nothing really serious yet. Disney, Bezos, and Elixir with 1, just like barely aware of their presence, which is great considering they fought Elixir last time and it went so poorly, right? Now, we know that Drez sort of turncoated on them at the end of the last mission, right? Drez sort of got captured and released. So Drez is owned by, I guess we could do this. Hunted, owned. So Drez by Aethertech. And Drez owned by Elixir. I can never remember how to spell that. So there's that. And then, has anybody else got owned? I think that they do. Let me double check. Relay. Dear my players, please note these things down somewhere. Let's see. Okay, maybe not. I guess the question is like it's just cyberware, right? Neural interface. think, let me look at my, yeah, Relay and Kachi are both owned, right? By the same company? Like, because Relay is hunted by Krug, I think. Let me double check. These are the kinds of things that we need to figure out before we can really, like, dig into the mission stuff. Nebula Jazz, the Sprawl. Here we go. Yeah, I've got their hunted stats there. I just need to make sure I don't miss anybody for owned, because this will definitely matter. I just got to find that first episode in my notes. Here we go. This was our first play episode, so it'll be the one right before it. Court of Swords. Grim. Here we go. All right. Aha. Okay, so Katja stole it from the Combinat, so that's why she's hunted. Drez is hunted because of the cyber. Yeah. Hunted. Yeah. Okay, so nobody else is owned. All right. Perfect. Okay, so that's what we got. Now I don't want to go right into a. I don't want to go right into a like. Elixir is forcing you to do this mission because they own Drez, but I do want to make that a thing. We have to bring that. We have to bring that up. So, what corp are we interested in taking a closer look at? I'm thinking EtherTech or maybe Show Nintendo or Sun. And I guess we can look at the options for the missions, the mission types. So like let's do Sun maybe. You know what? Let's bend that idea that we had before. I've got another idea I can play with here. So let's do, I have an idea here. Let me hash this out and we can figure out the details. So Sun, Sun, gotta spell it quickly. Is installing a new set of of microwave receivers. I before E except after C. In a low income area of the Metroplex. They anticipate that there will be interference, either from local gangs trying to steal equipment or from their competitors. How did I spell that wrong? Competitors? Yeah, there we go. They outsource security to the PCs during the most crucial time of the installation, rather than using corporate security because they don't trust Freyr due to a recent falling out the two corporations had. Something like that. Let's maybe start there. Something like that, I think, is a good start. So that maybe they're not willing to go to Freyr because Freyr is working with Aether, or like there's some kind of like complex situation there preventing them from using their usual security. So they're just going to try to like undercut and operate this launch. So I think this would be a protect, like a guard mission, protect target assets. Yeah, and I think that might be the jam, right? So this could be about, the legwork phase could be about like asking questions, building up. And I think this allows us to create some more non-corp like clocks, right? Yeah. So all they have to do is just make sure the action clock is just like the sort of the action is the night of the mission, right? Protect the thing. So I just have to come up with some threats. This is one of those like StarCraft missions where it's like protect the base for 10 minutes while the Zerg rush you or whatever, right? And I think at some point Drez is going to be, someone is going to be pushing on Drez to, I'm going to make a note of that. At some point, someone contacts Drez and is like, yo, idiot. Elixir wants you to steal these files, right? Build in a pwnage. Let's see. So let's put it at some point during the mission, Elixir contacts Drez and demands a backdoor be installed in the server, jeopardizing the security of the installation. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Put that in the secret GM zone. Now no one can see it but us. Okay. All right. So let's talk about mission directives. Our mission directives will be when you accept the mission, and then I suppose the end will be when the installation is secure and active. Mark XP. So this will be like you win when it's done. So some opportunities here for the directives, the personal directives. See, the thing, God, and this is the frustrating thing, is if Katya wants vengeance on the Combinat, I have to make the Combinat present all the time. I have to give Katya the ability to deal with them. So the Combinat have to be involved, but the problem is I don't want to include the Combinat all the time. Like, I don't find them that interesting. So it's frustrating for me. Vengeful is a bit of a weird deal. I guess I could provide... Look, if she goes looking for a Combinat connection, I will invent one for her, but otherwise, that's fine. We'll leave that. I'm not going to prep it in advance. I can do that. The other one is when you take precautions to protect your identity. So anything that Katya does to show that she is, that she's doing this stuff, that she's doing, like making an effort to disguise herself, that kind of thing. Not being like, hi, I'm Katya. Relay wants to be illustrious and compassionate. That should be easy, right? Relay's illustriousness is like desire for fame, right? Turn this into an opportunity to brag. Compassionate is putting the powerless ahead of the mission, right? Finding a way to reroute the power to a poor neighborhood, basically fucking with the power generator, because it's not going to be giving power to everybody equally. It's absorbing energy from a microwave and then putting it out there into the world. Relay can decide to reroute that stuff. That's going to be the compassionate angle here. Derez is easy. Deceptive and Mayhem. This will give him an opportunity to be deceptive. Mayhem is on him. Jinx, same thing. Violence is on her. Financial, find a way to turn this to your own gain. I think that for the directives, really, aside from something like Vengeance, it's on the players. If they don't do it, that's their responsibility to pursue that stuff. Yeah, like a local gang backed by the Combinat is fine. So let's make a couple of notes about the location, right? Just general GM notes for ourselves. So let's talk the where, right? What part of the Megaplex is this new microwave receiver being built? Let's say newly gentrified area that until recently was the site of a significant crime, organized crime wave. Maybe drugs? But Megaplex with Hasty Mart and yeah, here we go. This is a good idea. So the Megaplex in cooperation. What the hell's going on here? Oh, I just didn't bump early enough. There we go. Hasty Mart and Aether Technology has managed to make the area friendly and livable. Again, implying it wasn't before. After the parentheses, before. So like, thing is, there are still lots of the original inhabitants living in the area, siphoning power, kind of hidden in the shadows, so to speak. They're being displaced by the new corporate revitalization. All right, so there's our where. And it also gives us kind of our who as well, right? So like, who is involved in this? We've got real estate speculators, private security firms offering protection, the newly rich moving into the bad neighborhood, squatters, addicts, ghettoized minorities being gentrified out, and then gangs. So I think that probably what ended up happening in this gentrification is that like several of the gangs ended up merging, right? Like let's start a new gang clock. Let's call this, say there's like one main crime organization that used to be a bunch of smaller ones, and maybe it's Combinat backed. Oh yeah, I kind of like that idea. Yeah, okay, here, I have an idea. So like let me grab one of these ones and we'll make a hidden one. All right, cool. And I'm gonna drop in a new clock down here. We'll hide it on the GM layer. And this is going to be the Lowtown Syndicate, and it's just like a group of like concerned individuals that happen also to be criminals. And they're the ones that are going to be either opposing or working with the PCs, depending on how the PCs handle it. But they're definitely like important. let's also make a note here of who these guys are for later. So a group of formerly independent, now combinat back organized crime gangs, organized crime groups, dealing drugs, doing crimes, and being forced up against the proverbial by the new gentrification wave. So really, they're just kind of like looking out for their hood, right? In Lowtown, but you know, yeah. And the Combinat are actually still very like villainous in this, right? Like the Lowtown Syndicate might still be like, oh, we found a way to hook in the Combinat. The Lowtown Syndicate might be like, look, we're just trying to keep our neighborhood for us. They're made up of probably like predominantly like ethnically diverse like gangs, right? People who moved into a bad neighborhood and took over and are trying to keep that stuff. But now they're being pushed out. They didn't have enough turf for each other. They all need to work together, at least for now. And there's some folks at the Combinat who have infiltrated this and who are like, listen, you have to work together if you want to push out these corporate bastards. But unfortunately, what's going to happen is that if the players side with the Lowtown Syndicate, that means that they are also siding indirectly with the Combinat, which should be pretty fun, I think. Get that moral quandary, right? Because the Syndicate, we know that they do bad things. The Combinat, they're into that bad shit. So you know, another case of moral gray area. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I think that's starting to get interesting. And then we also need the liaison. We need a Sun security liaison. Yeah, exactly. The Combinat's keeping them armed. I'm gonna do this. I'm just gonna, to name this security liaison, I'm just gonna look up the band that Andrew named this corporation after on Wikipedia, and I'm gonna combine the names of two of their members. So this guy's name is, oh, there's only two guys. Okay, Greg O'Malley is the guy's name. There's only two guys in that band, so perfect. Installation security chief Greg O'Malley. All right, old Greggy. So Greg O'Malley is going to be their guy, and he's the one who kind of sets up the mission. Now, what's interesting about this mission being, God, it's got to be secret, right? So they can't know what they're guarding, right? Because that's one of the choices on getting the mission is like, you know who you work for. So they can't know that they're working for Sun, and they can't know that it's what the installation is for. So all they're going to know is what they choose to look up in the legwork phase. And I guess I can leave that up to them if they think that that matters. So I guess what they need to know is we're protecting a facility while some sensitive construction operations are being undertaken. So, okay. Let's talk about some ways in which the environment might complicate this. Or let's talk about complications generally. So who wants to stop this? Who has learned about this and wants to stop it, right? Who's the enemy they need to go up against, right? We know that the Lowtown Syndicate opposes it because they oppose all corporate build in Lowtown. So they're going to try to cause trouble, and they're armed and sort of radicalized in a way by the Combinat. So indirectly, I guess the Combinat opposes it too. Armed and pushed by the Combinat. Combinat, okay. They have a corporate, there's corporate opposition, so I think that someone who made a bid for this power thing and failed out. Yeah, I think it's probably like Aether, maybe. Yeah, let's make Aether Tech the kind of opposing corp here. Aether opposes because they wanted some kind of automated plant in the, maybe it's just a real estate thing. They were going to use, yeah, it's totally just real estate. They were going to use it as a driverless car hub. As a driverless car hub for the new, yeah, for the new like neighborhood, right? Because you gotta have, yeah, because if the neighborhood is up and coming, then yeah, Aether needs, okay, yeah, I like it. Okay, let me see what else we got. Anybody else opposed? I don't think so. Again, remember too that Aether and Sun and Elixir and all these corporations they're quite large. So they have several subdivisions. So even while on the one hand part of the corporation would be opposed, the whole thing doesn't necessarily have to. Yeah, when I say like, I don't mean just like a place where you store cars, but like a main like hub with servers and like all that stuff. It was going to be a big deal because it's in prime real estate. So it's here to like power this area in a way it hasn't been before. Yeah, this new Lowtown district. And actually, I think that's what the Loto is the name of the like hip version. LOTO. Kind of like Soma or whatever. You know how that happens? So it's the gentrified name for Lowtown. Come on down to Loto. It's got all the greatest restaurants. I hear the rent is still like kind of cheap there. Oh my God. If you can handle all the bums. Okay. So let's see what the directives are. I guess it would be like when you accept the mission, you mark XP, which you don't really have a choice to do, but whatever. We talked about that. When you I guess like when you arrive on site at the appointed time, mark XP, right? When you're actually there to guard it. When it's secure and active, mark XP, so that's at the end. These are kind of our milestones throughout. I'd like to have 5 of them, I think. One of them is like kind of during or at the end of the legwork phase. So like when you assess for threats, like when you complete a threat assessment. I kind of want to, okay, let me look to when you defeat the first wave. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Here, let's do it this way. When you arrive at the appointed time, and then when the final, I guess when the secure delivery arrives intact, mark XP. So these objectives, I wonder if they happen in order. Or if like if you miss one, if one doesn't happen, can you still continue? Like let me look. We've done these in very normative order, kind of 1 to 3. But I don't know if that's exactly. Let me see. Okay, so you show them the directives. They give a general shape of how the mission will be conducted, but only uses information given to them by the employer. Okay, here. How about this? When you submit a threat assessment. So this is what the employer wants you to do. Yeah. Okay. More complicated missions have more immediate directives correspond to the main parts of the mission as the employer directs. Okay. Yeah, that's the point. So yeah, they tell you this. This is what you should do. Okay. All right. Now we could make it more complicated, right? When you reroute the power, I mean, maybe we make like a subversion one. Let's do that. Let's make another set of directives that subverts these. That if you decide to like turn on your employers altogether, see if we can do that. Because the enemy will remain the same. Okay, I gotta make my space longer. 60 by 60. Let's make it 60 by 80. Let's throw another 20 at the bottom here. Okay. And that'll let me actually move the Lowtown Syndicate up. Okay. All right, I know the text is very small. Let me scroll back up here. Okay, so anyway, let's make an alternate, like you decide not to do this way. Because I guess this is a way that I can kind of alternate directives. Yeah, not an alternate mission, but we play to find out if they subvert the thing. So like here, let's go like this. Because I guess if you screw over your employer, you don't get the money. But someone else will pay you, right? Maybe this is like you get money from someone else, the syndicate or the combinat. So when you accept the mission, mark XP. When you learn the truth about the facility, right? That it's a power station, but only for some people. When you make a plan to reroute or destroy the facility. No, I'm not going to give them the option to destroy. Reroute power, mark XP. When the installation is secure and active, mark XP. And then an additional one, when the reroute goes unnoticed, mark XP. Okay, so that's one. This is the reroute version. Let's do a destroy version too, just in case. Hang on, I gotta move all this stuff over slightly. Or I guess actually here, let me just be a little more creative about this. Because we can keep the clocks the same. This is the first mission where we've actually, because the clocks are about the enemies, not about what the players decide to do. So there we go. All right, let me make one more. Or if they decide just to blow it the fuck up. There we go. Okay, so for this one, zoom back in. When you accept the mission, you learn the truth about the facility. When you make a plan to sabotage the facility. When the secure delivery arrives intact. When the delivery is interrupted or rerouted. And the installation is destroyed or sabotage, mark XP. There you go. All right. So we've got now some options depending on the path they take. This is the one that the corporation gives them. These are the alternatives that if they start down another route, I can give them a new set of directives. One of these is sort of the derez and... I think this is actually going to create some interesting tension because one of these is when you work like with the combinat, because this is the one the combinat wants. They want the players to reroute power. They want to get the power, right? This one is the derez one. They just want to blow it up for chaos's sake. So we'll see. Relay will want one thing probably, and they can't have both. And then, of course, Relay will have the option of the built-in jeopardize the mission thing. So this will happen during the legwork or action clock, I think, right? Because as they start making noise, Yeah. Exactly. Option 1 is the canon route. Option 2 is the combinat route. Option 3 is Drez and Jinx. Yeah, you got it. Exactly. This is great. This is interesting. We've never done anything like this, and I think it's showing another way to prep for this mission, for all missions. So we'll see how it works in play. I just hope that the players don't assume they have to do the corporate one, because they don't know that. But I also don't want to tell them, like, you could do it another way, to have them be like hunting for it. We'll just play it. We'll play it organically. No, so Elixir actually wants the plant to stay alive. They want objective 1 or 2. They want the canon version to occur. Yeah. So let's start by adding Drez is activated to the clock. Now this is where I'm gonna have to be a good GM and say, if I put this on the clock and we never reach that point on the clock, I don't get to use it. So I guess maybe let's I can put it early in the clock, right? When would Elixir notice these things? I almost feel like I need a like Elixir Drez like loyalty clock. Yeah. Okay. So let me get to work on these. I guess I can move them both to the GM layer because the players won't see these until the end of the mission. And let's put the legwork clock. Let's start with Drez is activated. I think 2100 is nice and safe because the players can push that far and still get a +3. So they almost always push that far, and I can choose where to move it. All right, so what happens on this legwork clock, right? So as they make some noise, but nothing gets serious, as they're like digging into who the threats are and whatever, I think the first people that get information are the ones that are keeping the closest eye on it. So I think this is where the syndicate hears buzz about the facility. As they make a little bit more noise, their opponents, so Aether Tech learns about the activation time. Drez gets activated at 2100, which starts our action clock. At the beginning of the action clock, let's see. Combinat Force starts handing out guns to the syndicate. I think it'd be like increases. Let's see. Increases pressure for syndicate violence. Right? Like no more sitting around. No more like sit-ins. Take these AKs and get ready. Aethertech sends. Let's see. Aethertech does drone and matrix pass-throughs, surveillance of likely, I guess does drone, performs drone and matrix surveillance of likely sites and persons of interest. So these are, the target is more alert. Again, this isn't really the target, but like opposition and their alertness and their action. So we're running kind of 2 clocks that function as one. The target deploys internal assets appropriate to the threat. Okay, so armed gang attack, or armed gangs prep. Because this, okay, so no, you know what? Let's go back. I got to go back to the other one. So this is where gangs arm up and commit to facility attack. No, should the gangs attack the facility and Aether attacks the shipment? Yeah. That's how we threaten each one. So they deploy internal assets appropriate to the threat. So this 2100 would be like gang attack on facility. I think the action clock and this arrive on site happen at the same time. Yeah, gang attack on the facility, Aether Tech attack on the shipment, on the delivery convoy. Combinat backed assault. Because at 2300 we're looking at external assets, right? Combinat direct backed assault on the facility. And then finally, overwhelming excessive force with Corp and Combinat. They can't do it. It's too much. Yeah. So I guess as the gangs arm up and commit to a facility attack at 2300 on the legwork phase, Aether Tech dossier identifies the PCs, and then the team is precisely identified, advancing a corporate or threat clock. So Aether Tech threat database updated with PC relevant docs and local. Ooh, here we go. And local low town reputation created. Corporate shills, right? Like this is where like the people of Lowtown and Aether Tech, if they push this so far, ooh, okay, so let's change this one to local attitude towards PCs directly harmed. No, directly negative, right? Where people are like, what the fuck? You work for the corpse. How dare you? Right? Like, I want that to be a thing because it runs directly opposite with the illustrious and compassionate part for Relay. Katya has the opportunity here to get notified, and what the community learns, the Syndicate knows. What the Syndicate knows, the Combinat knows. So this is quite cool. It's quite interesting. I think there's a lot of neat like social stuff going on here, and I think that this mission should be pretty fun. We're doing some weird new things. Strange new shit. Let me come up with a few more NPCs before we're ready to quit. So, Installation Security Chief Greg O'Malley, head of chair of the Lowtown Syndicate. I need a name for this lady. Let's see. See here. Okay. I'm just looking up name generator. Here we go. Her name is Lai Laura Wong. Okay. And then maybe we'll need who else should we get here? Combinat advisor. Of course, he'd never call himself that to the Syndicate. All right, and I need, let's see, let's make this guy Yuri Slomkowski. Yuri Slomkowski. Okay, that's cool. All right. Good. Okay. Let's see here. Do I need anybody else? I guess I can generate anybody else as I go. Okay. Yeah. Combat community manager. Yeah. Community liaison. But he doesn't officially work for the Commandant. Maybe he says he works for the city. Something like that. All right. Cool. I think we're good. I think I'm ready. I'm ready for the episode. Now, unlike the weeks of yore, we won't actually be doing this episode until next Friday. So I've got some time to pontificate and to think, to review. So if you're watching this on YouTube, you haven't missed the episode. So if you have any cool ideas or thoughts, tweet me at Skinny Ghost and let me know. Actually, you know what? Don't tweet me because the players will see that. Where can you talk about this in a way that the players won't see? Leave a comment on the video. I'll tell the players not to look at the comments because they're not allowed to be watching this anyway. Players, get out of here. Yeah, just leave a YouTube comment if you have any ideas. If you have thoughts about what we can do with this mission, and I can always pop in and adjust. I'm super excited. Hopefully the players enjoy this mission, and hopefully you do too. So thanks for coming, everybody. I'm gonna go. This has been another episode of GM Prep for the Sprawl. I think we're gonna call this one. What should we call this mission? Operation Community Service. Something euphemistic like that. Operation. I mean, power struggle is pretty good because it's a power station. I like that. Yeah, Operation Power Struggle. Operation Lowtown Dawn. Something about the sun. Operation Power to the People. Yeah, I think a power joke is probably appropriate here. Power Struggle is pretty good. I think we're gonna go with usually our first idea is our best one, and I think that one's good. Lowtown Funk is pretty good, but let's save that one for a follow up. I think Lowtown might be something cool. So we'll stick around and maybe use that one later. Oh God, rise and shine. You all are too smart. All right, Operation Power Struggle is a go. Thank you for coming and helping me figure it out. I hope that it's been useful for you in terms of how to prep for both this game and some of the stuff that you can do in Roll20. All of the stuff that's on the screen here in the shaded text is going to be invisible to the player. So if you do tune in on a week Friday and watch, remember, don't let them know what they shouldn't know. All right. All right. Stick around for next week's episode. This has been GM Prep for the Sprawl. I'm Adam Coble. This is Roll20 Presents. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.